Well, it's official. The mutants are coming to the MCU, but the X-Men are not. I'll explain that in just 1 second. So, as being reported from Comic Con and here at Bounding Into Comics, the mutants will be headed to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but we will be leaving the name X-Men at home. So it's been widely reported, and it says here in the headline again from Bounding Into Comics. Victoria Alonso, who is Marvel Studios' head of production, has said multiple times that she feels that the X-Men name is outdated because it's not a gender-neutral term. So the X-Men, their team name has been deemed problematic for a while now, and it has been, a question as to what the MCU is going to do. Were they going to try to do something about the problematic name and rebrand them somehow, or were they just going to figure we'd like to make money and we really don't care about the name? So they chose the rebranding avenue. So let's talk about that. According to the article, following the introduction of the shared universe's first official Homo Superior, which happened in the Miss Marvel show. For those of you who didn't know, Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan, was revealed to be the first mutant, or at least the first mutant that we're encountering. Obviously, she's not Apocalypse's first mutant, but so she was the beginning of mutants in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because we are just gonna throw the Inhumans right in the dumper. We don't care about them. They can go away. They had their time and they blew it. So now that we've got mutants in the MCU, we're going to be bringing in more of the characters that we're familiar with: Wolverine, Cyclops, Storm, the Professor X, all the usuals. But their team name, that needs to stay home. That needs to stay back because it is far too problematic for today's sensitive times. As a fan of the X-Men, it's been rough the last couple of years. I mean, first of all, the Krakoan era stuff, their comics have really just been letting me down left and right lately. I haven't been enjoying reading them there. I'm very nervous about the revival of the X-Men animated series, because so many people have all come out that are working on the show and said, oh, it's going to be very reflective of the politics of today. And I'm like, no, I don't want the politics of today. I'd rather the politics of the 90s, or just no politics at all, preferably. Let's just see the X-Men fight Magneto and Apocalypse. And before you go into it, yes, I know the X-Men have always kind of been this political thing, and that's what makes them good. I don't, honestly, to be perfectly frank, I don't really mind if the X-Men want to take on some of today's issues. I just don't trust this current crop of Marvel creators to do it in a way that is clever or good or respectful or any of that. I think it's going to be trash, just like all the other Marvel stuff where they try to insert politics is just trash. So I think this name swap is, to me, a big red flag, and it's really, really unfortunate, because I was looking forward to the X-Men, and I think that a lot of people who follow the MCU were kind of hoping that with how bad and lackluster everything had become in the MCU, that the mutants were going to be the force to come along and save it and bring it back to some kind of glory. Because think of it, you've blown through the Avengers, you and all the characters associated with that. That nobody cares about the Eternals. Spider-Man is still Sony, and there's no new deal with Marvel and Spider-Man, on the table that I'm aware of. So they don't have that to look forward to anymore. What have you got? So the Guardians of the Galaxy are just about done. So the next best thing you would think is the X-Men. I mean, there's so many characters, there's so many great stories. You could have decades of film content, and they're just going to stumble like this out of the gate. To me, it's just odd. Now, I have heard some people speculate that this is just going to introduce the idea of the race of mutants, and then the X-Men will spring out of this as kind of a sub-franchise, but I don't even like that. I mean, the X-Men are the front and center. They are the mutants, in my opinion. And to sit here and say, oh, we're just going to introduce these characters, we're going to call them mutants, this tells me that the X-Men movie is going to be a lot like the Eternals movie. A lot of characters, just a lot of weird lore building, little for plot. Oh, man, I'm disappointed. I'm very disappointed. If they weren't dropping the ball so badly on the comic side of the X-Men so much right now, I would kind of give it a little bit more of, hey, let's wait and see, stiff upper lip kind of an attitude. But no, they've just been railing the X-Men so badly lately, and then this just, to me, just seems like another crap on a very big pile of crap that they've taken on the X-Men franchise. So yeah, there it is. Their name is no longer associated with their movie. So because it's too outdated, too problematic, and I want to know what you guys think. I want to know if this name change affects your desire to see a potential X-Men MCU movie. If you see this come out, you see those characters, you see Wolverine on the screen, you see Storm, you see Gambit, whoever they're going to throw onto the team, and then you see that name, the Mutants, no X-Men, is that going to take away, add to, or not even have no effect on your excitement to see the mutants debuting into the MCU? For me, it's really tough because I love the X-Men as their core concept and characters. Don't like what they are now, and it really worries me. This is, to me, it's just a tremendous red flag that this is just going to be a bunch of nonsense, a bunch of just woke modern day garbage that I really don't want to see thrust upon my favorite characters. And my inclination now is that I'm just going to want to give it a pass. But obviously we haven't even heard any castings, any previews, none of that. So I mean, can they change their mind? Change my mind? Yeah, probably. But I have to say, coming out of the gate, if this is supposed to be the thing that's supposed to like begin the beginning of ginning up that excitement, getting everybody hyped for the arrival of the X-Men of the MCU proper. I think they not only tripped coming out of the gate, they face planted, they got mud and dirt all over the front of themselves, and now they're trying to get up. And man, it's going to be really tough to get any momentum, I think, behind this name. I really do. So, but let's talk about it. I want to know if you agree with me or disagree with me. Let's talk in the comments below. While you're down there, do all the usual things. Please hit the like on this. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already a subscriber. Share this video along with your friends. I'd like to know what they think as well. We're built a really good community here. I always enjoy interacting with you guys in the comments and hearing your guys' opinion on comics. You guys have sometimes opened me up to perspectives that I haven't seen on some of these topics. So let's talk about it, and I'm just going to leave it there. So that's it. We got a lot of news coming from Comic-Con. I might put it out now because it's going on again right now at the time of this recording. If we hear anything, I'll be back on. Otherwise, I think we're probably just going to do a big recap maybe next week. So I'll talk to you then. Bye.